Hey everyone, welcome to beginner yoga. I'd like to start here in a nice easy pose. Find a nice comfortable seat on a blanket, on a folded blanket here. Just starting to lift the hips a little higher than the knees. Maybe taking a few cleansing breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And beginning to ground down through the sits bones, lift up through the crown of your head. Draw your shoulders back and down and tuck your chin slightly. Closing the eyes here, just giving a nice soft gaze towards the floor. Moving into three-part breath. On your next inhale, begin to fill your belly. Allow your rib cage to expand and notice your chest rise. Exhaling, chest lowers, ribs hug, gently drawing the navel toward the spine. Keep going here, inhaling, filling all the way up. Exhaling, emptying the lungs. Never forcing here, just gentle movements. You can start to count the breath if it feels right to you. Maybe a 3 to 5 inhale and a 5 to 8 exhale. Quieting the mind. When you're ready, start to blink the eyes open. And we'll just start to do a few neck circles here. So drop your chin to chest. And we'll work this curvature in the neck, inhaling ear to shoulder, exhaling to center, inhaling toward the other side. Just move through a few times, starting to wake the body, opening up into any tight spaces. Come on back to center. Inhale the head up. Give a few shoulder rolls back and forward. And let's bring the hands together, forearms together. Interlace your fingers and we'll do a few circles, wrist circles. So lifting the elbow so that you can also start to feel that stretch behind the shoulder blades. Slow or quick movement here is fine. Just working through any of the popping and cracking that you might be feeling or hearing. Switch directions. Inhale, press through the palms, drop your chin to chest, round your spine, your shoulders just a bit. Exhale, release. Re-interlace your fingers behind you and start to press down through the tops of the hands. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, release. A few shoulder rolls here. Back and forward. And then go ahead and bring your hands to your shoulders. And we'll just make a few circles. So exhaling as you draw the elbows in, inhaling, opening up. Again, all that cracking, crunching, your hearing is normal. Keep moving through. Switch directions. And release. Shake out your hands a little bit. And let's go ahead and come off of the blanket. So just move it out of your way. Extend your legs out in front. I do have a chair here with me today, only to help to just show you a few examples of how to get into different poses. But so we're here. Go ahead and lean back into your hands and start to shake out the leg bone from the hip socket, lifting the heart. Try to stay out of the shoulders, but lifting up. Maybe lift the gaze or just keep the gaze forward. Shake it out. Keep breathing. Point and flex your feet. Spread your toes. And then we're going to scoop the leg bone back into the hip socket. So coming into a nice staff posture. Plant your hands down next to your hips. Lift the crown, and we'll do some ankle circles here. So again, spreading your toes nice and wide. Keep breathing. Just move in one direction for a moment, and then switch directions. Again, lean back, point and flex the feet. You can check out the legs once more if you like. And then go ahead and sit up and give a few, just rub the legs up and down for just a moment. Few circular motions around the knees, just waking everything up. Starting to get moving here. All right. So from here, go ahead and swing your feet around. And I want to start by coming into a nice squatting posture. We'll start to work on opening up around the ankles. You can use a blanket here if you like. So I'll just show you what I mean. So you can come into your yogic squat. So our heels will be in, toes are out. If your heels don't reach the floor, you can use a folded blanket under your heels as a place for your heels to rest. Now, if your heels come down and you place the blanket under, you might feel like you're falling forward. So whatever works for you. And we'll start here with just planting the hands in front of you and start to just work on opening the knees. And try to keep the heart lifted as best you can. Try not to round here, but sort of lifting up, opening up, breathing. And then go ahead and make your way into your squatting posture. You can use your blanket, you can use a block under your seat. So whatever works for you. Elbows come to the inside of the knees. Now, if your elbows are not here yet, that's okay. Just work to lift the heart and bring the hands to heart center. We're going to take 3 breaths here. One more breath. Plant your hands back down in front of you, and again, start to open up. All right, so from here, go ahead and come to seated, and we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. All right, so sit up nice and tall from here, and then just sort of flutter the knees up and down. Little butterfly action here. So if it doesn't feel right to bring the heels close to the body, you can start to scoot them a little further away from the body. But again, we're just, opening up here. We're just breathing into tight spaces, noticing where those tight spaces are so that we can start to open them up. Breathing. And then go ahead and come to a place of stillness here. Lift up through your crown. Take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale, start to hinge at your hip creases. I don't want you to pull your body forward, but just start to fold. And wherever you land is okay. It doesn't have to be a full forward fold. Maybe grab the toes. Look forward for a moment. Take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale and allow your spine to round and your head to drop. And just breathe for a moment. Notice where your tightness is here, maybe in the low back. You may be feeling this more in the knees or the inner thighs. See if you can send your breath to that area of tightness. So inhale deeply. See if you can send your breath to that area. And then as you exhale nice and long, see if you can start to let go, open up. On your next inhale, start to roll yourself up 1 vertebrae at a time. So you want your head to come up last. And if you need to extend your legs here, you can. Otherwise, we're going to do our little butterfly motion here once more. Just opening up, breathing. And we'll do our fold once more. So come to a place of stillness. Inhale deeply. Exhale, fold at your hip creases. This always feels good to me. And then as you exhale on your neck, let's take 2 more breaths here. Nice long exhale. And on your next inhale, again, rolling back up. Head comes up last. Any movements here that feel good to you, maybe draw the knees in and extend the legs out in front. Maybe give the knees a little love. Spread your toes, touch your toes. Yeah, maybe sit up nice and tall. Flex your feet are hip distance apart. Sit up nice and tall from here. And then exhale, fold, look forward. Keep your heart moving forward. So you're thinking about bringing your heart over your knees. Maybe grab the big toes. Maybe grab the toes. Maybe just rest your hands here on your shins or your thighs. And again, when you find a place to where you can't really fold forward anymore with a nice neutral spine, go ahead and allow the head to drop and the spine to round. And just take a few breaths here. Another option here, if you have a lot of space between the knees and your mat, you can always place a rolled blanket here. Breathe. And then inhale your way back up to seated. Again, one vertebrae at a time. Your head will come up last. Give a few shoulder rolls. Let's swing the feet around and come into a tabletop position. So bring your knees directly under your hips and your wrists directly under the shoulders. Start to spread your fingers nice and wide. And then look forward just a bit. And we'll do a few cat-cow from here. So inhale, start to lift your heart, look forward. Exhale, chin to chest, round the spine. Inhale, lift, look forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift, look forward. Exhale, round. Let's do 3 more. So inhale, lift the heart, look forward. Exhale to round. One more here. Come back to center. And then inhale, start to look between the hands. Let's walk the hands over to the left. So we're going to start to open up the side body here. So the right side body, we're going to exhale, ears in line with the arms. Chin moves towards the chest. You can even start to look under the right armpit if it feels okay to the neck and shoulders. Breathe. Inhale to look between the hands. Walk your hands over to the right side this time. Exhale, ears in line with the arms. Tucking the chin slightly, starting to open up the left side body, maybe looking towards the left armpit as long as it feels comfortable to the neck and shoulders. Breathe. Inhale as you look between the hands once more. Come on back to center. Reach for the top of your mat. Exhale, ears in line with the arms. On your next inhale, go ahead and come back up. And you're going to find yourself in a modified plank. I'm just going to scoot this chair a little bit. So you'll find yourself in a modified plank here. Our knees are still on the mat. We're not lifting the bottom. We're not sinking down into the hips or allowing the belly to hang. But we have a nice, firm belly looking towards the top of the mat. Let's take 3 breaths here with nice, strong arms. On your next exhale, allow the hips to sink back towards the heels once more. Chin is tucked. We're looking towards the knees. Take a breath. Inhale, look between the hands. Again, reaching for the top of the mat. Exhale, ears in line with the arms. Inhale, back into your modified plank. We'll take 3 more breaths here, looking towards the top of the mat. Nice, strong arms. We're not allowing the hips to sag or the belly to hang. Nice, firm belly. Strong arms. Exhale, come all the way down. Let's come down slowly. Go ahead and bring your forehead to your mat. And then shake out your hips a little. All right, maybe give a few shoulder rolls here. In fact, maybe start to reach for the top of your mat. Reach overhead. Give a nice full body stretch here for just a moment. And then we're going to slide the hands back under the shoulders. And we want the tips of the fingers to be slightly behind the tips of the shoulders. We're going to keep our elbows tucked in nice and tight. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale fully. On your next inhale, gently press into your hands. Lift your head with your gaze still at your mat. Lift your heart. Let's take 3 breaths. Exhale, come on back down to your mat. Shake out your hips. And this time we're going to press into the hands. Lift the hips. Press the hips back into full child's pose. So rest the tip of your forehead on your mat. If your hips are lifted, that's okay. Maybe slide the hands back and come into full child with palms facing up. Relax the shoulders for a moment. Breathe. Slide your hands next to your knees, palms down. Roll yourself back up to seated on an inhale. A few shoulder rolls here. Back and forward. Let's go ahead and come back into our tabletop position. So bring knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Allow yourself some room. So try to make your way into the middle of your mat. Look towards the top of your mat. We're going to tuck the toes under. Inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, lift your knees and press your hips back. Start to straighten the legs by pressing down through the heels. See if you can bring your heels down to your mat. If they don't reach, that's okay. Maybe look towards your navel here. You can put a deep bend in the knees if that feels good. Let's take 3 breaths here. One more breath. Exhale, knees come back down to your mat. We're back in our tabletop. Untuck your toes. You can do any movements that feel good to you, maybe making some circles here in both directions. From here, we're going to slide the right foot between the hands. And we're going to make our way into a nice runner's lunge. And you can bring your blocks to your mat if that feels good, maybe to keep the spine from rounding. You can start to lift up, lift the heart. So we're in our runner's lunge, and you can decide how deeply you want to move into this lunge. You can tuck your back toes under and slide that left knee back. A little more, you can stay right here. So whatever feels good. All right, looking towards the top of the mat, we're just going to make sure that the knee and the ankle of the right foot are stacked. And then just go ahead and start to press the hips back on your exhale and inhale forward, and starting to stretch here in this area right here. Start to feel pretty good. And also, as you press back, working the hamstrings. Come on back into your lunge. We're lifting the heart. Maybe bring your blocks up to highest height. Again, lifting the heart, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, keeping the gaze forward. Breathing, keeping the hips square. One more breath. Exhale as you bring your blocks back down to lowest height. We're going to slide. If you've moved your knee back, go ahead and scoot it forward just a bit. And we're going to slide this right foot back and come back into our tabletop position. You kind of scoot the blocks out of the way for just a moment. Again, do what feels good to you. If you feel like you need to do a little movement before we move into the other side, maybe some circles here. Always keeping the belly nice and firm. All right, come back into your tabletop. We're going to slide the left foot through this time. Knee and ankle are stacked. Slide your blocks back under your hands to keep the spine from rounding so we can lift up and get a better breath, right? A deeper breath. And then again, you get to decide what feels best to you. If you feel like you can move into a deeper lunge by just scooting that right knee back, you can come here, or you can stay right where we're at. And we'll start just by rocking back and forth. Go ahead and come back into your lunge. We're going to bring the blocks up to their highest height. And I just want you to stay here for 3 breaths. Start to press into that right hip. Keep the heart lifted, stay out of the shoulders. Keep breathing. On your next exhale, bring your blocks back down to your mat. We'll go ahead and move a little back and forth for just a few more times. Come back into your lunge. If you've scooted the knee back, you're going to bring it forward just a bit. And then slide your left foot back. Scoot your blocks out of the way. Come back into your tabletop position. We're going to make our way back into a downward dog here. So tuck your toes under. On your next inhale, lift your knees. Start to press your hips back. And straighten the legs as you press down through the heels. Maybe walk it out a little bit as you look toward your navel. Press both heels down towards the mat. Look between your hands. And then just start to walk yourself between your hands. So come into this as best you can. All right? So we're going to make our way into a forward fold. Bend the knees in and out. You can bring your blocks under your hands if you like. We're looking to bring the belly to the thighs and the heart over the knees. Head is heavy and hanging here. On your next inhale, with your arms nice and relaxed, head relaxed, we're going to start to roll up one vertebrae at a time until the head comes up last. Almost as if there is a wall behind you. Once you make it up, give a few shoulder rolls. Do what feels good. I'm just going to adjust my camera a little bit. Make sure you can still see me. All right. So from here, go ahead and move your blanket and anything you have out of the way. If you want to use a chair here, you can, but we're going to start in a nice sorry. You're going to start with your feet hip distance apart. Okay? And we're just going to give the shoulders a few rolls here. Back and forward. Shake out the hands. Bend the knees in and out. Maybe bring your hands to your hips for a moment and find the place in between bending and locking the knees, right? Lift up out of the shoulders, lift the crown, take a deep breath. Maybe close the eyes here for just a moment and notice where your hips are in space. As long as you're feeling nice and grounded and stable, on your next inhale, let's go ahead and take a nice wide stance. So feet are a little wider than hip distance. I want you to bring your toes in and your heels out just a bit. And then bring your arms out to a T in line with your shoulders. We're moving into 5-pointed star. Your tailbone is dropping down. You're lifting through the crown of your head and just start to move the arms back and forth. So opening up the chest. And you can even press through the palms here. That gives a little deeper stretch. Breathe. Hands stay out here to shoulder height. We're going to turn the right toes out and keep the left toes in. We're going to make our way right into Warrior Two. So you get to decide here if you want to put just a slight bend in the knee or move a little deeper into that Warrior Two. Maybe looking over the right fingertips. Nice strong arms, but try not to lock your arms. You want some energy flow here. Breathe. You can use the chair here if it's helpful to you. Inhale, straighten the leg. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left toes out. Inhale the arms back into a T in line with your shoulders. Exhale, start to bend into the left knee this time, making our way back into Warrior Two on the left side, maybe looking over the fingertips. You don't want to have a stick arm here, so slight bend in the elbow is okay for energy flow. Breathe. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn your right toes in. Left toes in. So left toes, right toes in. Heels are out. Inhale here with shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Exhale deeply. Inhale. Exhale and start to hinge at your hip creases. So this again is where a chair might come in handy. If you want to bring one out in front of you for this particular pose, you can. Otherwise, we're just going to stay here. Nice long spine, looking forward slightly. Most of the weight here is in the ball of the foot. Breathe. Inhale, come on back up to standing. We're going to start to walk, heel toe, the feet back in. Bend the knees in and out slightly. Our feet are hip distance. Our toes are nice and wide. All right. So heel toe the feet out slightly. Not as deeply as before. We're going to turn towards the top of the mat. So you can keep your hands at your hips. You want your feet on a train track and less of on a tightrope. So check that your hips are square. Hip bones are pointing towards the wall in front of you. Nice, steady, stable stance. Inhale, lift the crown. Exhale, tailbone drops. Maybe inhale and lift the arms overhead. You can keep the arms at shoulder distance, or you can bring the hands together into prayer position overhead. Or you can even bring the arms to goalposts. That can feel pretty good too. You can turn it into a slight back bend. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, bring your hands back to your hips. And we're going to turn to face the opposite side of the mat. Feet are on a train track and less of on a tightrope. Hips are square, pointing to the opposite side of the room, the side of the room in front of you. Take a deep breath here. Exhale deeply. Maybe inhale the arms overhead. Maybe bring the hands together. Keep the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Or you can bring your hands to goalposts and start to lift the heart and create a slight back bend. Maybe lift the gaze. Exhale, hands come back to the hips. Turn back to face the edge of your mat here, the front edge of your mat. And then we're just going to sink the hips down and come back into our squatting posture, our malasana. And bring your hands to the floor here and just start to open the knees once more. Bring your hands together at heart center with with elbows to the inside of the knees. Take a breath or two here. Let's go ahead and make our way all the way down to the mat. In an easy pose, legs crossed. Bring your hands to your knees and we'll take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Bringing our hands together at heart center. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me today. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Namaste.